Yes, it is. We started this, what, a couple of months ago, maybe? I don't know, what, 6 weeks. And thank you very much. I just get all of these requests. As I told you, I just got one from Dana right as we were hitting the air. Uh, we try to answer all of them. It's kind of impossible on the air, but I do try to get you an answer on email. And there's a theme running along all of these, and that's like, what microphone do we use? And it's really been difficult for me because I don't want you to think, oh my God, we're going to get a big commercial here. No, we're going to talk about the science a little more. I always like to talk about the science, and that's been a problem in this industry. There's no rhyme or reason for some of these microphones, and we're going to go through some of these, and these are right out of the boxes, and let's go from there. You're going to hear some pretty horrible things and some pretty good things. So I'm going to turn this guy down, and here we go with this thing. I mean, to me, it's not usable. It's terrible, and when you try to make any kind of sense out of it, it's not there. But this is a microphone from one of the dealers from one of the accessory companies. And I don't understand. I guess people don't really listen to things. Or, well, hey, my meter's moving and Bill said I sound fine. No, you don't. So then you get into the next one. This little guy is... it's what you call stock microphone. Well, I bought the $10,000 radio and it came with the microphone, so it's got to be okay. No, it isn't. What's wrong with it? I always think, well, first of all, it's very hollow sounding. All of them are, because they haven't paid attention to that. But the biggest problem with these is what I call the puffies. And Gordo's going to get into that in just a few minutes, but it just sounds like a hand mic, and it's not very good. So I did something about this last year. Again, we applied the science. Why do all hand mics sound like this? Because it's a microphone element in the clamshell. So we fixed that. And what I did is this. I took the element, put it in a little larger enclosure, but the secret, not a secret, my gosh, it's very simple. I opened up the top. So instead of it, if I close that top, it sounds just like the rest of them, real hollow and clammy. Open up the top and it sounds like a real microphone. It's a hand microphone and works on everything. I'm really, really happy with this because now we finally have it. And there's a lot of guys, that's all they want to do is use a hand microphone. Okay, good for you. Personally, I like to have microphones on booms because I was always doing something. And that's why we brought booms to this industry. We were the first ones to do this back in the 1980s. But then you say, well, I'm going to get that other microphone here. This is a matching microphone, and it's a studio microphone. Really? Okay. So I'm going to plug this in for you. Well, it ought to sound really good because it's... it's made by the manufacturer. Well, no, it's not. None of these guys build their own microphones. And you say, well, it's matching. That means it's painted the same color, period. It has nothing to do with how it was engineered or designed. They stick the word studio on it and you've been fooled. Well, no, I said that isn't going to happen. Because this was about in the 80s. I said, I'm going to do something about it. And so we did. And what happened here was along about 1995, I started seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And I came up with the most popular microphone that's been here to date, and that's the Gold Line. And here is the Gold Line. And
all of the EQ is equal. So if anybody thinks I'm playing games, no. But listen to the difference. No, it's not matching. It's painted a different color, but it sounds so good. And we'll go back again. You can do this if you want. I need to really turn the gain up. That's another thing. These things are very low in gain. But when you compare them, it's like, what in the world happened? Well, what happened was a little bit of engineering went into it, not so much about matching paint. And you know the rest of the story. When it comes to the microphones, we went on and into the other division, and that's well happened about what 19. It was about 19, somewhere about 89 and 90. I started working into the pro side, and then it was Joe Walsh that said, "You got to do this," and we opened a whole Pandora's box, bringing some really high quality stuff, and now thousands of radio stations, and I don't know how many touring groups, and you know that story. But the reason I do this is to let you hear all of these differences. And what you have to do is what you're doing right now. Listen. Put on some headphones and listen. Dissect what you're hearing. Mentally dissect the harmonics. Does it have articulation? Most all of these do not. Ours do. It was one of the first things that I put into all the designs that we did, the S's and the P's and the D's, even without any kind of EQ, they're all there. Gordo has some further really good tips about using the microphones, especially in handy talkies and all of the VHF work. Gordo, let's go back down to Costa Mesa and turn us on to how to use a microphone properly.
Well, thanks, Bob. Here's what we have found with these little guys. These are available, as you well know, from a lot of different sources. And the little tiny microphones where you speak into this little element right here, they just sound tinny. But to sound good, you need a good headset mic, one that is noise canceling. And we can tell it's noise canceling because if you look on the back of the Heil headset, you'll see that you can see elements on, focus, there we go, elements on both sides, but that's on purpose, so it is noise canceling. Now, each of the microphones, especially for parades and out in the wilderness, come with a little microphone wind blocking. And let me show you, actually, let me let you listen to the importance of blocking the wind. Listen what happens when this communicator on a windy ridge is trying to get a message back to the battalion chief that the fire is overtaking them. Take a listen how they're completely obscured by the wind.
Objective or issue it's amazing. Your structure looks good. I'm being Battalion 7, sorry, you were unreadable. Can you repeat? Sound like you had a lot of wind in the background.
Yeah, they were definitely unreadable. All that mush was the wind blowing across the face of the microphone. And with the Heil HMM, this microphone setup comes with these plugs that then plug into either Kenwood, Yaesu, ICOM, Malenko mobile transceivers. But the headset, they come all ready to roll. You just order Kenwood, Yaesu, ICOM. And if you have some of the foreign transceivers, you'll find that the Kenwood will many times work with the Beofeng and things like that. Now, with the new ID51, we plug right into the side. You do need to shave a little bit off of that rubber material, and then you'll have a great connection. And it's important to know where the microphone is because some manufacturers put it up at the top of the radio. Some put it down at the bottom. On the ID51, it is perfect placement, as you can hear like here. And we try and talk across the microphone because if you talk right in the top, every pop, pop, pop. And then you'll sound like the Republican convention where all of the delegates had a pop every time that they were talking. So talk across the microphone and you'll have much better reception. So that's the mic story. And if you really want to know what's inside, just take it apart and, oh, wow, it's got a whole different look than what I thought. So whatever's happening back there, Bob, in the lab, you're making it happen, and it really works well out at courtside in the wind. There's no popping and there's no wind noise. Bob, back to you.
All right. Well, that's another thing that we try to do, and we don't try, we do it, but it's part of the design, and that's the rear rejection. And I really have fun because engineers will ask me, how did you do that? I did it with ham radio. What's ham radio got to do with it? Antennas. I learned about phasing from antenna, and that's why we have very different looking microphones. You think that's one of these stupid condensers. No, it's not. It's dynamic. But the side panels and all the microphones are like this. It has 40 dB of rear. When I turn it over, I don't hear much because it's 40 dB down. Your blowers and all that. And of course on stage, it's wonderful because we don't have all that trash from the back like condensers pick up. That's why there's no use for condensers in my world, and I've proven it. But I hope you learn a little bit here. We just keep going and write us, good or bad. Let us know if we're hitting the points for you. And we'll be back next week and talk about some more things.